or good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to start off with a few slides here, but we'll also take a look at the live demo, and I'm going to show you how to turn on the new Solr feature, and we'll also take a look at how the Solr searching works from user perspective as well. Xinet 17.6 key features. This is mainly, we've added a modern search paradigm. We've added Solr searching. We've added Solr search technology. Solr uses the Lucene search engine from the Apache Lucene project. It's widely used in enterprise products. We have a lot of expertise in-house in other products of the North Plains product line. And we've also made this an option. So it's not mandatory to turn on this new search technology. The two benefits Solr searching gives you is, first of all, it's going to give you the results much faster and more reliable using a much more intuitive search interface. And it also offloads a lot of the heavy lifting from the vendor database, so it makes your Xinet server database performance a lot faster. And we'll dive more into this, and I'm going to show you and explain more what this really means. Secondly, we've enhanced asset accessibility. We've taken Xinet Pilot a step further, and we've ported it to the Windows environment. This is our first step in enabling the Windows environment. So Xinet Pilot is available for Windows with the 17.6 release. We've enhanced drag and drop features in Xinet Pilot. So we not only allow drag and drop into Adobe creative applications, but we also allow drag and drop to the desktop directly from within the Xinet Pilot interface, which makes it much more flexible. So the idea is you can drag and drop not only Adobe files, but anything you want. You can drag and drop movies or PowerPoint presentations to your desktop, edit those files, and drag and drop, upload them back using the Xinet Pilot product. We've also moved further in improving the Pilot interface, and we've used HTML5 and CSS3 style sheets for Pilot. We are using the Bootstrap framework, and the general idea here is to make the user interface as intuitive as possible to allow the user to use the product very natural. And then last but not least, we've Extensible Archiving. So we've made our API archive-aware. InPress Systems has used this new API, this extended API, to develop a middleware called OnFile that connects the Xinet interface with Archiware P5 archiving solution. All right, let's take a look at modernized searching. So again, we've added Solr search technology. It's a popular search engine, big community. We've years of successful usage of Solr inside of Unify and on-brand, and Solr is also going to be implemented in Telescope. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it uses Lucene as a search engine, but it comes with a lot of enterprise search features already built in. So it's highly scalable. It supports faceted searching. It supports stemming. It comes with a lot of APIs built in. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we've made this an option in this first release. Why did we implement it? This is mainly to make searching as simple and intuitive and as fast as possible. So we want the search tool to be minimized, specific, fast, intuitive, and give you what you need more predictably. One of the things we've also done is we've removed the advanced search area from the interface. And why did we do this? We've done it because we want to take the task of constructing those complicated search queries away from the end user. So if you're a studio artist and you're looking for a file and you're looking for a job number or a file type or some metadata fields, we want you to just type in that search query in the quick search field. And we don't want you to waste your time to build those complicated search queries. So instead, the software is taking over that task for you, and Portal will build that search query for you and pass it on to the Solr index. And again, we're going to take a look at it, how this looks like from the user perspective, and I'm going to explain a bit more how this works. By implementing Solr, we've also improved the performance of the Venture database a lot. And this is because we've removed the bottleneck of maintaining the index inside of the Venture MySQL database. So now all the indexing is taking part inside of Solr. So while MySQL and the Web Native database is busy with updating the index, updating metadata, ingesting metadata, extracting text, and so forth, all the index maintenance is shifted over to Solr. So the searching will take place entirely in the Solr index, while the Venture database takes care of workflow automation and metadata extraction and so forth. Okay, so now I'm going to turn that off here a little bit and switch to the native admin interface. Here's the native admin interface of Xinet 17.6, and I've browsed to a new page here that we've added to the admin interface, and it's inside of database admin. It's a page called searching, and when you first browse to that page, you'll have the Solr searching disabled here, and you can turn it on by clicking on that button here, which will be called Enable Solr DB when you first browse to it. By turning on that button and turning on Solr, Solr will ingest all data that we have in the Xinet database. So all the file names, all metadata, all full text, everything will be pushed over to Solr, and Solr will create its index that can later be used in the product. It will also disable the Venture indexes. So once Solr is turned on, the Venture FTIs will no longer be maintained. So then once you've turned on Solr, you can then later on disable Solr by pushing on this button, which will remove the Solr index and will recreate it the next time you re-enable it. You can also stop Solr entirely, which will just turn off Solr without removing the Solr index. We do not recommend to switch between turning on and off Solr all the time, so it's really a decision you need to make. And I have a few questions at the end of the presentation that should help you with that decision. So once you've turned on Solr, you will also see a new process here in the processes overview, which is Solr, and it's running. It's going to be running once you've enabled it. So that's the first step. Second step is you want to also enable facets. And I'm going to show you in a second how this looks like from the user perspective. But we've added a new column here in the user's permission set called facets. And you can make a decision on whether you want a metadata field in the user's template to show up in the facet or not by just checking on those checkboxes. This turning on those checkboxes on the metadata field does not at all determine what fields will be added to the Solr index. Okay? Turning on Solr gets all file names, metadata, and full text fields from the Venture DB and adds them to the Solr index. Turning those or checking on those checkboxes here simply makes these fields available in the facets or filters in the user interface. Okay, I'm going to switch back to PowerPoint here real quick, and we'll move on to this part here. Okay, enhanced asset accessibility. So I mentioned it before, Xinet Pilot for Windows. We have a Xinet Pilot for Windows now, including all the features that Xinet Pilot for Macintosh has. This includes drag and drop. So you can drag and drop from Xinet Pilot directly on your Windows desktop. Again, this is our first step in enabling the Windows environment, which should make remote workflows with the Xinet server from Windows-based clients a lot easier and a lot easier, more intuitive. We've added the faceted search interface. Again, we're going to look at this in a second. So the idea is you would run a quick search using a simple search field. You'll type in your search term and you'll use the facets to further trim down or refine your search results. We've added HTML5 and CSS3, so all the portal templates used by Pilot are entirely HTML5 and CSS3 driven, and we make use of a modern Bootstrap framework. Bootstrap, for the ones of you who have not heard about it, is a collection of JavaScript files and style sheets, and it's commonly used for building user interfaces very quickly. You know, it has all the objects, buttons, and forms, and list views and stuff are already predefined, and it just helps us speeding up the design work for the Xinet Pilot interface. Drag and drop to desktop, I've already talked about this. We've extended drag and drop functionality past just Adobe products, so you can drag and drop to the desktop now, edit your files, and drag and drop upload back to the Xinet system. So the entire idea here of enhancing asset accessibility is to make the user interface as intuitive as possible and to allow the user to use the product very naturally. And drag and drop is just one example, one idea of it. So it's just very natural to take a file, find a file in Xinet Pilot or Portal and drag and drop it right to your desktop where you would need it. Okay, let's just take a look at this. I'm going to hide this from a desktop. So Xinet Pilot, once it's installed, Gary mentioned it before, it gets installed by the Xinet Client production installer. Once it's installed, it shows up here in your menu bar, and you can activate it by just clicking on the Xinet Pilot icon. You'll get presented with this window, and you'll just log in with a Xinet user account. And here's what you'll see when you first log in. So here are some images here. And I'm going to use searching and facets, and we'll see how we can take advantage of the Solr search technology and hopefully find the files and get you the results you're looking for very quickly without having to create those complicated search queries in an advanced search interface. So now what I'm going to do in my quick search interface, which you already know about. We've had this for quite some time now. And I'm going to do a search for blue, and I'll find a few assets here with blue in the file name or in a keyword field. And what I can also do is I can extend this, and now I'm going to search for blue and building. And it's important to capitalize the and, just so that we find this as a search term. We also support OR searches and wildcards as well. So I'm going to do this now, and this is how I find everything that contains blue and building. And I can also give you an example of an OR search, which will find everything that has blue or building available. So now once I have all my search results, I can use facets to further trim down or refine my search results. Let's say, for example, I'm only interested in JPEG files, and now I'm only interested in everything that's tagged with region North America. Okay, and here are my two files. Very, very easy, very easy to use. So now that I've turned on those two metadata fields metadata fields for to refine my results, those fields show up here, and I get a list of all the filters that are applied to my interface. And once those filters are applied, and I would run a separate search, let's say, I'm going to look for a press kit or something. I'm not going to find anything because those filters don't apply to the search results I would have normally gotten from the search. And if I clear all the filters, here are my search results, just without the filters turned on. Okay. Another thing, well, I've just mentioned wildcarding. So one thing Solar also does, and what we've implemented is, star .psd, let's say, right? And it's going to find me all the Photoshop files within my share. I could have also used those type fields here, but this is just, or I can do I don't know, build like this. What's also built into Solar and what we've implemented in Xinet is a feature called stemming. So if I search for build without adding the extra wildcard, Solar automatically also searches for builds, building, builder. So it has some logic built in that it tries to give you the results you're looking for. And this stemming feature is customizable as well. It's also regional, so there are different dictionaries for different languages. And Xinet ships with a wide range of language dictionaries, although they've not been tested as of today, but we'll do that, and with the help of our integrators, we'll do that moving forward. All right, one of the other interesting things here with the search results and Solar searching is the way Solar presents the search results. So in the past with 17.5, the only option you had was by file name. So we would always sort by file name alphabetically. So now with Solar has a feature called weight comparison search results. And it will determine what search results to present first and in what order. And this weight comparison feature can also be tweaked and optimized. But we're using a standard default weighting function, and it's already really, really good. It already gives you the results you're looking for, very predictable and very intuitively. Okay, so then once you've done your search, you can also save that search and give it a description, right? And just by clicking on here, you can give it a search name and a description. And once you've saved your searches, you can also pull up your saved searches from this list. And just by clicking on the search name, it will rerun that search. So what it will do, a saved search is really actually a saved search. It's not, we're not saving the state, so we're not saving those 3 files. We're really rerunning that search again. So if the file system and the index therefore would have changed in between running the search and the next time I'd run this search, we will get different search results. And this is expected, and this is a desired behavior. All right, so now let's say you've found what you're looking for. What you can now do very, very easy simply is, you take your assets and simply drag and drop them to your desktop. And I don't know if you've seen it, but if you have larger files, like maybe movie files, which I think I have, it's also not very large, but I think I might have a movie file here. Here we go. If you do the drag and drop and you're drag and dropping a large file, we've also added a progress bar here that shows you that something is going on. Again, the goal here being it should be really intuitive and easy to use. By looking at the screen, you know exactly what's going on. So you're just going to see that progress bar real quick, but I think you'll see it. Right, go. All right, so drag and drop. Here we go. Here's your high-resolution files. This works in a local workflow if you have access to the mounted volumes and if you're in the same network as the Xinet server. And this also works remotely, just exactly the same way I've shown it to you. Xinet Pilot for Windows looks exactly the same like what we have here. It's just the shell, like the native program looks a bit different on Windows, but the entire user interface is exactly the same. All right. Right, so back to my PowerPoint slides. I'm going to hide Xinet Pilot just again by deactivating it here in the menu bar. Archiving, extensible archiving. What we've done is we've made our API archive aware. We've been locked down to one archiving solution for a very long time, and we've now made our API archive aware to allow third-party vendors to use it and to connect to our solution. We have a technology partnership with InPress Systems that I think most of you already know. And InPress is working or is about to release, I think, I'm not sure how far they are, but on a middleware called OnFile that allows you to connect Xinet with Archiware P5 as an archiving solution. And the idea, again, is you want to archive and restore data directly from within the Xinet interface. I don't know, Gary, if you want to add on more information about this here, but this is pretty much how much I can say about it. We've provided that functionality in our API, and InPress has taken it on and used it to connect Archiware with our software.
So just to sort of expand on what Timo is telling us here, is that North Plains have basically enhanced the API for archiving functionality. Our partner, InPress Systems, who many of you are probably aware of, have built some middleware that is able to talk between Xinet and Archiware P5. Archiware is IOI's preferred archive and retrieval software that we sort of push internally because we know it's very reliable and solid. So what IOI will be doing early in the new year, in sort of January time, is we will be doing another series of webinars, and that will be strictly focused on Xinet and the Archiware integration with using the InPress tools. So we will get back to you on that, and we will give you more information on that as it happens. But we are able to supply that, install that, and make that available from now. But we're going to show everyone that functionality-wise in January via a series of webinars. But if you did need to see that sooner, then please let us know, and we can make that happen as well. Thanks, Timo.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Gary. All right. So as promised, I want to end my presentation by giving you some ideas and some questions that should possibly help you to make that decision whether you want to turn on the Solar search feature or not. So I'm just going to read them to you. Do you require custom pre-filtering based on business rules in your portal interface? Is field-specific searching a requirement? Are you using third-party interface plugins? If you can answer yes to any of those questions, you should probably stay with, well, current or, with the 17.5 Xinet search engine. On the other hand, are quick and simple searching all you and your users require? Is the system bottlenecked by extremely large amounts of data? Do search facets give you all the refinement or of results your users demand? If you can answer yes to those questions, we recommend switching to the new Solar search technology. Yeah, so this is that's it from my side. Thank you very much for attending, and I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions, and I believe I'm going to be involved also in answering those questions.
So thank you very much, Timo. That's much appreciated. I know that everyone on the call can probably appreciate it's very, very difficult to talk about searching and database-related items because obviously a lot of the work is in the administration and not actually in the interface. One thing that I would like to just clarify, and Timo may be able to help with this as well, is I know that a lot of the people on the call may not be familiar with Xinet Pilot, so I'm just going to just reiterate what that actually is. So Xinet Pilot is actually an application that you can have, and it works on a Mac or a PC desktop. The sole purpose of that is it's mainly aimed at people that are going to interact with the production departments on a pretty regular basis. So, Timo, I don't know if you can just quickly pop open the Xinet pilot again for me.
Sure.
And what I just want to show to people is that obviously currently you have people mounting the full press volumes and working off of the full press volume. What this tool is aimed at is to make that process a lot easier, because you can kind of have this application running in the background, and you can sort of get to the asset management system through this little application on your desktop. The big enhancement obviously is it now works on PCs, but one of the other things it can do, which I'm not sure if Timo showed in there, is obviously you can do all the functionality that you'd get inside logging in via a web browser. So you can upload files, you can add things to a shopping basket, you can get more info on files, you can add metadata to files. So here Timo is showing you where we can add some metadata to an actual file itself. So this interface is really useful for people that are very hands-on with assets inside the DAM from a production standpoint. So what I also wanted to show you, Timo, I don't know if you can quickly jump into an exhibit skin.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to sort of clarify everything, obviously a lot of people in this call have sites that they've based on either exhibit or transition or some other style that you've built yourself. Now, transition, we are going to make that 17.6 compatible very soon. But just to show you, this is the exhibit interface, and all of the facet searching that Timo showed you inside Xinet Pilot applies in your base standard websites as well. So this isn't just a feature that's inside Xinet Pilot. I just want to make that very clear that this is a web feature that's going to be built into your site. So I thought it was worth mentioning that just while we was finishing up there. So I think that's it from me. What I should also reiterate is that after this call, our marketing team, Jill and Damien, will be following up with a link to either download, or they'll be sending you the files directly, the information around 17.6, the facet searching, the Solar database, so on and so forth, with the frequently asked questions. I urge all of you to have a read of that as soon as possible, and if you do have any questions that doesn't cover, please email me at gfisher@iointegration.com, and I promise you we will get back to all of your questions by the end of this week and send out an update to all of those as well. So all that remains to be said is a big thank you to Timo for taking the time to show us this today. It's much appreciated. Thank you, Timo. And that's all from us.